Let's look abroad now. COVID-19 numbers in India continue to surge. The South Asian country has recorded nearly 132,000 new cases in the last 24 hours alone, the highest daily number in that country since the pandemic began. There's also reports of vaccine shortages in parts of the country. To discuss more of these developments, I'm joined by Rebecca Bundan, our correspondent in Mumbai in India. Rebecca, thank you so much for joining us. Now, you're in Mumbai, which, if I'm correct, obviously is the biggest, largest city in India, but it also finds itself in the region of Maharashtra, which, according to the numbers that we're seeing, has marked almost half of that almost 130,000 new cases. What is going on in that region?
Yes, absolutely. We've just had the latest figures from the Health Ministry in India, and there have been more than 145,000 cases, confirmed COVID-19 cases, reported in the past 24 hours. Those are the latest numbers that have come through, and almost 59,000 of these are from Maharashtra. And over the past couple of weeks or so, we have seen a situation where more than half of those are coming from this one single state in Maharashtra. Now, authorities are saying that there are a few reasons behind this. One of these is that after the state opened up following last year's strict lockdown restrictions, people started to move about, go to work, and they just stopped following a lot of the COVID-19 precautions, such as wearing masks, such as social distancing, and they were attending weddings, huge gatherings, and this led to this massive spike in cases that we're seeing. Some doctors also say that new variants of the virus have a major role to play. There are other states that are seeing large numbers of cases coming through, including Kerala in South India and Punjab as well, but Maharashtra is really kind of leading the way in this surge in cases. And the state government here in Maharashtra has said that it's reporting its numbers accurately. It doesn't accuse other states of not reporting their numbers accurately, but there's kind of this suggestion with the comments that have been made from ministers here in the state of Maharashtra that Maharashtra is being very, very open and transparent about its figures, and there's a suggestion that perhaps some other states are not reporting those numbers as accurately as one may have hoped. Now, because of this surge that we've seen in the state of Maharashtra, strict action has been taken. From Monday, we saw new restrictions coming into effect in the state of Maharashtra, basically almost like a partial lockdown during the week, with all but essential shops being closed. Restaurants were closed apart from for deliveries and takeaways. Shopping malls were completely shut. Cinemas, places of worship closed. Most people weren't allowed to go to private offices. They had to work from home. And now this weekend, we're seeing Mumbai and the wider state going back to a full lockdown. This is the first weekend following those new restrictions of these weekend lockdowns that will now take place in Mumbai and the wider state of Maharashtra. So from last night onwards until Monday morning now, there is this total lockdown, and people are generally being confined to their houses. Only essential services allowed to operate. Grocery stores will be open. People can go out for medical treatment, vaccinations as well. But now what we've seen in Mumbai as well is this huge shortage of vaccinations. So private vaccination centres have actually had to close here this weekend, and it's only the government-operated centres that are offering the vaccines.
Now, Prime Minister Modi had a meeting with the chief ministers from the different states, and he's warned of this casual approach that you alluded to there, sneaking in as those numbers went down at the beginning of the year. And he's asked those chief ministers to look at night curfews and micro-containment zones and this kind of thing, so that the trace, track and treat system can really take effect. But at the same time, you've got 5 states that are also preparing to hold elections, Kerala being one of them. Are they being allowed to go ahead with rallies and all of these kinds of events that one normally sees around elections?
Absolutely. There's been a lot of criticism of this because despite these rising numbers of COVID-19 cases that we've been seeing in India, now of course hitting those record highs almost on a daily basis, including that new record high that we've seen today in terms of the daily COVID-19 infections, there have been huge rallies that have gone ahead in all of these in all of these states, and when you see those rallies and the visuals of those, there are people there who are not wearing masks. There's absolutely no safe distancing being observed at all. So that's a massive criticism. And the government itself has said that one of the factors behind this rise in the cases is the fact that people have become very, very relaxed about not following COVID-19 guidance, not observing COVID-19 behaviour, that they've just become very relaxed now. In some states, they are being stricter about fining people if they're seen not wearing masks. A lot of states have introduced these night curfews as well. Even there's a night curfew in Delhi as well. Mumbai also has its night curfew in place alongside this weekend lockdown and all these very strict restrictions that are taking place during the week. The same in the city of Bangalore as well. Several places have introduced these night curfews as a way to to control the spread of the virus. But at the same time, with these elections taking place, people going out to vote, people gathering for rallies, that does seem to be a contradiction to some of the guidance that's being offered, and certainly the evidence is there that those precautions are not being followed in those cases.
Worrying developments indeed. Thank you so much for that update. That's our ENCA correspondent in Mumbai in India, Rebecca Bundan. If you've just joined us, India recording over 130,000 new cases in the last 24 hours alone. So Rebecca bringing us the very latest there.